Well, unfortunately, Sims 4 saves are still corrupting, yet EA is advertising a sale on the very pack most likely to cause this devastating issue. A spring sale, of course, is not unusual for Sims 4, but announcing that For Rent is half off, including it in lead advertising, is really not an acceptable move. Now, of course, all Sims packs have bugs, I'm not saying that, but the save corruption issue in particular linked to For Rent may be the worst yet experienced in Sims 4 to date. And the fact that they're heavily advertising to buy for rent with no disclaimers whatsoever is just really not a good look. And rest assured, the Sims team is very aware of the for rent issue. In fact, 2 months ago now, Sims Direct finally acknowledged the issue and is asking for save files. I will be leaving the link for that in case you do want to report it, but in short, many unsuspecting players, of course those not really active on social media, might be downloading for rent and be unaware of this issue. And at very least, they should not be openly advertising the pack and placing it on sale. In fact, I would argue, given the severity of the issue, I don't think it should be for sale at all. I am going to go into a brief reminder of what this actually does, why it's devastating, and some new insights from some other people. The irony, of course, of all this is we did get a patch for Sims 4 businesses and hobbies, and yes, it did address some of those expansion pack bugs, but we are still waiting on both the corruption issue, which is really serious, and of course, the weather indoors. Now, rest assured, there are many more bugs, and I will continue to try to cover them in Sims 4, but I do want to focus on this specifically because I want to warn anyone who somehow is not aware, do not buy for rent, even for half off, or frankly, even if it was 90% off. Actually, even if for rent was free, I would not personally download it. Now, as a reminder, there are many different ways you can recognize the corruption in your game, and unfortunately, in most cases, once it starts, there's no stopping it. One example is getting a white screen after loading into a world. Another example is, of course, corrupted lots and houses disappearing in saves. You might get a load error of 800 or 801. Neighborhood houses show as default or empty. Endless loading or crashing when trying to load a certain lot. Placing objects from the gallery can freeze the game and cause endless loading. Floating furniture and building completely gone, and houses and lots disappearing. And unfortunately, it usually starts in Willow Creek and it just pretty much expands and eats up your entire game. Yes, this does sound like science fiction and I have covered it before, but the fact that they're heavily marketing to buy for rent right now, I just think it needs more attention. And as a reminder to show just how bad this bug is, the issue is it's really hard to pinpoint, but there's several things that can accelerate the issue. Reminder, the issue itself is not mod related, and it's said that larger save games such as multiple generation legacies are going to be the most vulnerable. In addition, if you're playing with lots of huge houses with lots of objects, tons of photos or tons of inventory or tons of Sims, you are more likely to come into contact with this. And usually, again, once this starts happening, there's nothing you can do, meaning some people have lost many years of work in The Sims 4. And honestly, it just gets worse. It's really critical to note that players are reporting you can get these corruption issues simply by downloading rental lots off the gallery. Yes, you heard that right. If you download rental lots, particularly the most popular builds, you are putting your game at risk for corruption even if you don't already have it. And honestly, this just shows the escalation of the problem. I can only imagine how quickly this is going to spread to so many different players who own this pack. And so openly advertising this, of course, is a bad move, but also consider now the very many dangers of the gallery. I'm not trying to stoke fear, but it's really important players have this information. And instead of giving this information, they are doing the exact opposite and saying, hey, go buy this pack. Now, there are some theories as to what is causing this and what you can do about it. Lunar Brittany says, I've been deleting worlds and seen pre-made for rent lots leave their data in the save even when the world is removed. So checking corrupted saves out, I am seeing a lot of zones that simply have no info attached, which makes me think these are the reasons for the corruption. To clarify, clarify this a bit more, because there's leftover zone data and that's never used, it's possible the reason lots display as vanished is because the unused data still belongs to a lot and simply forces the game to display pre-made lots as defaults. This is just my guessing though, but so far clearing this is what fixed the displaying of pre-made lots with someone's corrupted save. Of course, theories aside, it all comes down to this. This is a very serious issue, it's not just a minor bug, and I honestly have to agree with some of the comments on Twitter. Why are you all advertising a pack that's breaking the game? Maybe don't promo For Rent until it stops literally breaking people's saves. For Rent, you mean the expansion that's corrupting people's year-long saves? I don't know we should be promoting that pack. And I have it, and it hasn't messed up my save yet, but it literally doesn't work. Waited weeks and weeks in game and never got paid. You fixed corruption issues or what? Putting the pack that's corrupting people's saves on sale is a truly new low. So in short, I actually think the outrage over this is very much merited. I'm not surprised because they're just doing a blanket sale. Expansion packs are up to half off and they have about 30% off I think for game packs, including My Wedding Disasters. But all in all, please do not buy For Rent and continue to spread the word. I think we need some more direct communication from Sims Direct. And while this does seem like a hot mess and maybe it is really complex to solve, at very least we need more open communication that we are promised, and at very least you should not be overly advertising this pack. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you own For Rent? Are you getting these issues? What do you think about the advertising? As always, I will see you in the next video, hopefully some good news, but I don't know.